Hello and welcome, this is Paragon RG and you're watching some top level Age of Empires 4. In this match, in the blue, we have Fitzy. And this map is Mountain Pass, by the way, and it actually looks like a pretty funky Mountain Pass. We'll get to that in just a sec. Fitzy's in the blue, playing as the Holy Roman Empire on the west side of the mountains. North side, west side of the map. MarineLord is in the red, playing as the English. And MarineLord is obviously a beast. For those of you that don't know him, he comes from StarCraft 2. He's a top 10 player in Europe in StarCraft 2. And pretty interesting actually watching games from this guy's perspective. Like he's all over the place. His mechanics are pretty much unparalleled. Maybe Hera can hold a candle to him. Let's take a quick look. Fitzy already with 3 military, but one of them's probably a prelate. MarineLord, no extra scouts added yet. So I think Fitzy went with a 2 scout build. Yep, so there's 1 scout down here, 1 scout down here. So he'll be trying to grab as many sheep as he can, and maybe if it turns out that he can use them to try to torch down his opponent's mining camp or poke away at a couple villagers, something like that, he will do so. Otherwise, pretty standard here. He's already got the gold mine in the back. Prelate, if this food was located back here, Prelate might be able to walk between the gold mine and the food. So maybe not the best setup on that front. That being said, I think there's only 1 sheep there, so I wouldn't be surprised if these sheep end up here for Fitzy. And of course, once you get the Aachen Chapel, you kind of make a decision, and like that will probably go here, right? So he'll get the gold, the wood, and if his sheep are north, then he's really not going for it. He's killing all the sheep now, so somewhat concerning. I wouldn't be so nitpicky if he wasn't against MarineLord, right? But obviously MarineLord is probably going to be ahead in a lot of little ways as it is, and so it's up to whoever's facing him to be extremely tight, and then on top of that, play a strategically sound game. MarineLord now adding a council hall. We'll see at least a handful of longbows in the feudal age, I'm sure. He's clicked up. Fitzbro, definitely slower. Ooh, the Minework Palace. I was just calling. Not calling. I shouldn't say calling it. I was praying last match to see a Minework Palace. It's been so long. I think early on in the game's lifespan, we were seeing, you could kind of pick between Minework and Aachen Chapel, but it just sort of clicked to people that the Aachen Chapel is so good. Villagers collecting resources at a speed that's 40% faster is completely insane. So, that being said, this is a free blacksmith, and you get blacksmith upgrades cheaper. So, we are expecting to see some serious feudal age pressure from Fitzy, and we'll see if MarineLord is able to handle it. That being said, MarineLord will be in the feudal age faster. Yes, only 3 villagers on the feudal age landmarks for both players, and MarineLord started quite a bit earlier. So his will finish up probably about 20 seconds before Fitzy's, which will give him quite a bit of time. He'll be able to produce a few longbows in that time. Fitzy, interesting. I feel like he needs a barracks now, like right now. I'm actually worried about these longbowmen coming in for him. Once he does have early men-at-arms, he will be able to hold off longbows, not necessarily kill them, but they do have enough armor that they're a little bit hard to kill with longbows. And of course, he'll be able to get the ranged armor very, very easily. So maybe that's part of his plan. He expects longbows, wants early men-at-arms, or even, actually, it's probably going to be a stable. I bet that's what we're going to see. So stable, ranged armor out of the Minework Palace, and then he has horsemen, and that explains why he hasn't built a barracks yet, because he is planning on a stable. So we'll see if that's what ends up happening. Indeed, stable going down, and we see ranged armor. Boom! Here we go. So, longbows are now coming out. Fitzy popping out. Any bit of stalling you can do is worthwhile. And his first set of horsemen could be actually pretty lethal, but look at this. MarineLord is walling this. That's going to be annoying. Let's take a look at what he sees. So I think he doesn't see a lot at the top, but he knows there's not many ways to get through this area. So walling this off is going to be super annoying. This is a pretty intelligent play. And once he has a gate there, interesting. Looks like a piece of it just sort of crumbled at the end. Hopefully that doesn't mean you can walk around it. But with a gate, archers with gates are actually like weirdly good in this game, right? Because it's not like AoE 2 where you can follow someone through a gate. A gate just lets allies in and does not let, or rather lets your side in. I don't remember if your allies get let in. But it lets you in, doesn't let your opponent in. Which means you can hang out here or here, and if they come attack you, you can just pop through the other side. So really, really intelligent play here. Fitzy does have a horseman out, but that's sort of shown now, right? The scout is seeing pretty much everything he's going to need to see. Like, he sees everything. Yeah, nothing hidden by Fitzy. Look at this, even looping around the front. So even if he loses a scout, there's 2 horsemen chasing it. I think this is a, honestly, just let it happen. He got through anyway. You know, you don't need to, sorry about that, let's follow the unit. You don't really need to chase with horsemen. I mean, you want these horsemen on your opponent's longbows, right? Unless you're seizing making horsemen at all, it does kind of look like that, doesn't it? There's one back here. Archers now coming out as well. Do we see spearmen? We do see spearmen from MarineLord. So clever play here from Fitzy. He's shown his horsemen and he's switched to archers. Now, unfortunately, MarineLord did see this archery range, so he probably won't overcommit to spears. He'll add a few to his mix, enough to be really cost effective against horsemen. He can always hang out near here if he chooses, and he can, you know, sort of pop back and forth between them, and the spears will be very effective in that situation. Yeah, so longbows pop forward. Need to be pretty careful here. They do go down pretty quickly to town centers. Villagers do get away. No losses just yet. Let's get a quick count before anything happens. Fitzy is actually down 2 villagers already. So I'm wondering if he got house blocked. I know he had 1 fewer villager early on because he chose to make a scout. But being behind a second one does matter. These little things, this means he's behind MarineLord now, right? So really it's up to him to make some smart plays and catch up. Meanwhile, MarineLord is suffocating him. Now, something I didn't point out. I pointed out the map was weird and crazy. So it actually, I think, looks crazier than it is. There's only a second. So you have this main area you can get through, which is fairly wide for Mountain Pass. And then there's one little sort of mountainous pass here you can get through. For a minute, I thought there were more areas you can get through just with the shape of this thing. Like, for example, it looked like maybe you could get through here, but I'm pretty sure you can't. Horsemen behind enemy lines here. Nice play by Fitzy, but I don't think this is really... This will cut off the next batch of reinforcements. But with the spearmen and longbows here, I think MarineLord is fine. I think he's fine to continue his harass. There is an outpost up here. Fitzy adding another archery range. A 3rd archery range, in fact. And yet again, being scouted. So this is something the top players are just so good at doing, is MarineLord always knows what Fitzy's up to. Always. I wonder if he's seen it's probably a little hard to tell. Hard to tell if he's seen this 3rd archery range yet, but to be honest, I think 2 is enough to tell him what he needs to know. Most of what he needs to know. So these horsemen are doing a pretty good job. You can see this is, the next batch of troops is a bit stuck. In fact, has MarineLord just stopped producing units here? Trying to figure out what he's up to. He is walling this pass. I wonder if Fitzy is going to be able to stop him. If this is one of these small things, if these horsemen were here, I guess these are 2 spearmen, so he may not be able to deal with them. Actually, a pretty looking battlefield. The troops are in their regiments for just a minute there. So, Fitzy has enough of an army here. He can definitely drive off all of the troops from MarineLord. It looks like MarineLord did commit pretty hard, actually, to spearmen in this instance. Let's take a look back here now. The walls are up, and Fitzy's probably like, hey, this was open a minute ago. What are you trying to do here? This villager does go down after not completing the second layer of wall, but I think he might have tapped it so that it's partially built. Troops continue waiting here for MarineLord. I'm wondering where MarineLord's resources are going. I feel like his army has not grown substantially in a little while now. Is it possible? So he does have... I guess he got on stone somewhere here. So that's part of it, is he has been upgrading his outposts. Send a villager out to build some wall. But he hasn't been joined by too many more troops recently. So a little worried about him there. I thought maybe he'd be pushing toward Castle Age, and then, you know, the troops up here can stall hopefully as long as he needs. Fitzy's desperate to get through here. He needs to be careful. No, you know what? He doesn't need to be careful. He has a much, much larger army here. So it's MarineLord who needs to step back as quickly as he can. And he's pretty alert. He is not about to take this battle before he is ready. And in fact, he does outrange these archers. Now, he is slower than them, so he can't go too far away from the safety of his outposts in that little wall, which is, again, oddly acting as a bit of a protector for him. So you will get the first shot. There's enough archers here, though, that it definitely needs to be pretty careful. I think horsemen could potentially be used a little better to track down those longbows, and even if they slow down to shoot you, well, it means all of these archers are also going to be able to shoot MarineLord's troops. So I think those horsemen hanging around these archers would be a little bit better. One villager does go down for Fitzy on those farms. I think Fitzy feels a little stuck here. He knows he has the army. MarineLord is actually pretty close to Castle Age now, and Fitzbro is really not at all. So he knows he needs to make some kind of move here. Fitzbro doing a nice job of taking out these spearmen. We'll start firing on the longbows now. Any second here. One down. I actually don't know why he went anywhere. I feel like he should keep trying to kill the longbows of his opponent. Longbows are picking away at these archers, but he's really determined to take out this emplacement. And there are... yeah, what's in here? It said 5 units, but I only saw 3. Oh, they're overlapped here. Okay. So a bunch of units there go down. So nice little cleanup from Fitzy. Let's take a look at the overall stats here. Economy 47, military 18 for MarineLord. 44, 31 for Fitzbro. So definitely has that army lead. Is still a little behind economically. And he's about to be behind massively technologically. Not being close to the Castle Age isn't going to do him any favors here. When the longbows hit elite, he's going to be in trouble. Not to mention that, you know, MarineLord can make lancers. King's Palace going up as well. So the longer this game goes, the more of an advantage MarineLord will have. He'll effectively be on 2 town centers. has upgraded this outpost twice now, so it has extra hit points and the arrow slits. The little bit of a mistake here, I think these horsemen won't do the job that Fitzy would have hoped, and he doesn't outnumber these longbowmen as much as he would need to anymore. Now, that being said, taking a battle before your opponent is able to upgrade all your troops is a good thing to do. So maybe it's the best thing Fitzy can do to sort of trade off the troops he has to prevent his opponents from getting upgraded, and then that way he sort of keeps the pressure on. He's now pretty much pushed past this outpost, so maybe the hope is to push past this even further, maybe even get right up to the passage in the center of this mountain map. Longbows did just make it to veteran here, so from that point of view, really good play by Fitzy to cut down those numbers. There's 12 coming up now. Do we see Fitzbro? He is going up with the Regnitz Cathedral. He has a couple of relics that are pretty close. Unfortunately, I don't know if he's going to be able to get to these two relics, and definitely not this relic. In fact, even getting to this relic may prove difficult when your opponent has veteran longbowmen and generally just beat you to the castle age. All right, so what is Fitzy's plan? Yeah, I worry that this is like the last thing Fitzy does, because yeah, he'll get a bit of income, which will help catch him up economically, but I think he needs more than that. I think he needs to grab more of the map. I think he's too stuck in his own area, and the Regnitz Cathedral won't help with that. Unfortunately, Burgrave Palace is very much out of favor right now. People choosing pretty much never to go with it. I said I was rooting for the Minework Palace today. I'm glad we got it. But the Burgrave Palace, that would be a dream come true. We never see the Burgrave Palace. So, dare to dream. Hopefully it'll be reworked in some way, just enough to make it useful, to make it worth choosing between that and the alternative Minework Palace. I think most likely what needs to be done is Minework Palace is too fundamental. So this should just become a civ bonus, right? Like your first 2 or 3 relics gain you extra gold income. And that way you can have your own you can have a whole separate landmark. MarineLord stepping in now, taking out villagers. The damage here is real. MarineLord is behind, and sorry, Fitzy is behind. This time, I don't think this is going to go well for Fitzy. These are veteran longbows now. They do 10 damage each, so they will absolutely rip through this force. That tower is still there. Looks like, in fact, MarineLord even grabbed one of these relics, so the relics that he wanted are not up for grabs anymore, and that's it. Fitzy calls it. MarineLord honestly outplays him in just about every way. I think maybe the Regnitz Cathedral was a bit of a mistake here once you're already so far behind and have no map control. Because without map control, how are you supposed to get the relics you need to get that income and come back into the game? So maybe consider the Burgrave Palace, but maybe I'm just asking for it because it's super cool. All right, folks, this has been Paragon RG. If you enjoyed this one, follow me on Twitch, YouTube, and I'll catch you next time.